March 25th, 2026. We are in the 5th year, day 30 since the beginning of the full-scale invasion. Welcome. I greet you to the situation report. In today's report, we see attacks on key infrastructure in the Russian hinterland, a very interesting regrouping at the front, and an absolutely noteworthy drone attack, as well as much more. Yesterday, there was an attack on one of the most important ports in Russia, which we naturally covered in the situation report. Of course, I couldn't withhold that from you. Now, just one day later, there's another attack on another extremely important port, and it's one that's not even that unfamiliar to us. It's the port of Ust-Luga, which has been attacked several times before. It's a very important hub for oil and gas, through which the Russian shadow fleet exports heavily. You can see footage showing a large-scale fire in the Russian port, which is located in the Leningrad region. The fire is said to have broken out following a morning attack by Ukrainian kamikaze drones. The available footage shows extensive smoke development, indicating ongoing fires within the port infrastructure. Ust-Luga is one of the most important export ports on the Baltic Sea and plays a central role in handling energy products, including oil and other processed goods. This is also the second attack on the Baltic Sea that we've seen this week. Accordingly, a significant part of the infrastructure necessary for export, from storage capacities to loading facilities, is concentrated there. Which specific facilities were hit has not yet been clearly determined. What will be decisive is whether the damage is limited to individual storage areas or whether critical transshipment and loading facilities are also affected, as this will determine the immediate impact on operations. The attack is part of a series of strikes against infrastructure-relevant targets deep inside the Russian hinterland. With Ust-Luga and Primorsk, several central energy export hubs on the Baltic Sea are affected within a short period of time, which further increases the strain on the affected infrastructure. The Ukrainian Air Force reports an exceptionally high use of Russian drones over the past day. In total, nearly 1,000 unmanned systems are said to have been deployed on the 24th alone. On March 24th, more than 500 enemy attack UAVs were registered in Ukrainian airspace during the day. This means the attack is on a scale that is significantly above the normal level. The high number indicates coordinated waves or a wide dispersion of the deployed systems, which poses a significant challenge for air defense. Such an approach is less aimed at individual pinpoint hits, but rather at saturation. The sheer mass of drones is intended to tie up, overload, or force defense systems to quickly use up their resources. At the same time, the likelihood increases that individual systems will get through and reach their targets. In Ukraine, a new type of interceptor drone called the UIB-1 was introduced. By the way, it was developed by Osiris AI. The system is designed to engage aerial targets largely autonomously and relies on integrated data processing directly on board, which will, of course, increase the price of the drone. Unlike traditional first-person view drones, which rely heavily on operator control, the UIB-1 can independently perform parts of target acquisition and tracking. This reduces the dependence on stable radio connections and enables operations even under electronic warfare conditions, which Russia, of course, had also implemented on board some Garant II drones. With stated speeds of up to 315 km range, the drone is designed to track and logically intercept fast-moving targets as well. This includes, in particular, other drones and possibly similar threats in the lower speed range. No territorial gains today, but I do have an interesting regrouping. In the area east of Dobropilja, there is another regrouping of Ukrainian forces. Within the first corps called Azov of the National Guard, 4 out of the 5 subordinate brigades are now concentrated in the same section of the front, which indicates a clear focus. Back in February, the 33rd Mechanized Brigade left the sector near Dobropilja and was relocated towards Kupiansk. We also looked at the relocation back then. New footage of the 1st Brigade of the National Guard now shows that this unit has taken over the position of the 33rd Brigade. This means they are directly joining their superior corps unit in the same area of operations. Such rotations are more than just simple replacements. When several organic brigades of a corps operate in a contiguous section of the front, it usually improves their command capability, coordination, and response speed. At the same time, this concentration indicates that this section is currently considered operationally very important. The withdrawal of the 33rd. The 33rd Brigade's movement toward Kupiansk also indicates further need in that area. Overall, this creates the impression of a targeted redeployment of Ukrainian forces, where priorities are flexibly adjusted without having to completely abandon individual sections. Let's take a look at the Ukrainian defensive line in the area we've just been talking about. There are recordings showing the development of layered defensive positions. At least 2 lines are clearly visible. The first line runs about 5 kilometers east of the town and forms an advanced security or delaying position. Closer to the town, about 1 kilometer to the east, a second line has been established, which runs in a ring around the town and secures it in all directions. This structure indicates a deliberate development into what is known as a strong point, just as we have often seen on situation maps. While the outer line serves to engage and slow down advancing forces early on, the inner ring position takes on the actual defensive function. Such a setup makes it possible to intercept attacks, gain time, and move forces flexibly within the ring. The layout around the location thus shows a classic echelon, a forward line for attrition, followed by a closed defensive area with greater holding capability. In a dynamic section of the front, such a location can serve as a local anchor point, even if surrounding lines come under pressure or shift. This morning, strategic facilities in Russia's Leningrad region were attacked by bombs dropped from the air. According to available information, light aircraft of the A-22 type were used, from which ammunition was dropped. If these reports are confirmed, it would be an unusual use of the platform. Light sport and utility aircraft, like the A-22, were not originally designed for military attacks, but they can be adapted for simple drop systems with relatively little technical effort, and there's no pilot inside either. This aircraft is operated like a drone. We've seen this exact type of aircraft used as a kamikaze drone many times before, but this time it's dropping a bomb instead of sacrificing itself. So, the operation suggests a rather improvised but also flexible approach. The reported targets are described as strategic facilities, and that's on the Russian side. It's still unclear which specific objects are affected. Likewise, there is no reliable information about the extent of the damage. But what's especially interesting is the location of the incident, because the Leningrad region is far from the actual front line, which once again highlights the depth of such attacks. At the same time, it is reported that this could be the first documented dropping of air pumps on this region since World War II. So this incident fits into a development where, in addition to drones, other, sometimes unconventional delivery systems are increasingly being used to reach targets in the Russian hinterland. But let's stick with drones for now, because after the drone attack on the shipyard in Vyborg, it is reported that a Russian patrol ship of the Project 2355 Zero class, which is still under construction, is listing to the port side. Footage indicates the ship was damaged in the dock or during construction. The project is designed as an ice-capable patrol and multi-purpose platform ship, and it plays a role especially in the northern and Arctic operational areas, which Russia wants to gradually reclaim for itself. The construction of such units is complex and time-consuming, so even structural damage during completion can lead to significant delays. A visible list, however, at least indicates water ingress or structural impairments that could require extensive repairs. Thank you to all subscribers, channel members, and the ALGO crew, with special thanks to Uwe Suter-Trenica, Sila Dittik, and Ferdy Merhofer. Feel free to subscribe, like, comment, and see you at the next Situation Report.